Well, hello, my friend. Isn't it wonderful that from this perspective, the whole universe appears to be conspiring with you in order for everything to fall into place in your life? From my perspective, it appears to be this way. For one, you found this video at this moment in time. Well done. For another, you may be noticing that there are experiences in your life that are either quickly falling away or quickly showing up in order to facilitate great change. Now, our attention, our focus is precious. So for the time that we choose to focus together in this video, I'm going to share with you some perspectives that I imagine will be of great assistance to you as you are navigating which choices are preferential for you based on what matters to you. We're also going to ease the flow around the idea of calling in your dream, because I understand some of us can get really caught up in the idea of how things are supposed to be. So we're going to brush off some of those supposed to be's as we walk through this conversation together. And by the way, I am Danielle Lynn. I have these happenstance conversations with intentional creators and alchemists at play, such as yourself. And in these conversations, you'll often find the scatterings of perspectives, new ways of looking at things, and pathways to shift old blocks and old resistances in your life into more useful, from my perspective anyway, ways of navigating this reality. Because from my perspective, reality navigation is quite simple. In a reality that we prefer to live in, we often find ourselves in harmony with life, appearing to do what we want, when we want, with whom we want, in the ways that we want. And I offer to you the idea that anything that we think is not available to us is just that, a thought, a story, a belief system that's been constructed again and again. And I offer to people that have conversations with me that there's no issue with believing any specific thing or another. But if you're finding yourself not having a particular amount of fun with a certain structure, well then, sometimes it can be helpful to curiously examine the consistent stories of your life and to begin to offer to yourself opportunities to start focusing on new stories. Stories that might be in support of you having more time, more space, and the kind of experiences you most want to have in your life. So if you're going to ask yourself, what matters to you? It's important to consider where you consistently place your focus, your energy, the moment-to-moment choices you make. And I invite you to consider that the stories you tell yourself about why you make the choices you do also contain within them subtle hints, subtle perspectives that will sometimes point to what's seemingly keeping you in one loop or one spot. Because I understand when someone else might say, reality creation's pretty easy, man. You can have what you want. For those of us who are experiencing prolonged experiences of challenge, it can feel like a slap in the face. I relate to that. I've lived prolonged experiences of challenge in my life, and it wasn't any more fun to hear then that I was focusing and choosing in my reality. It felt a little bit like being blamed. And so I offer to you at this juncture that if you feel that way or you have felt that way, that this perspective is arriving in your life at this time, not from a place of blame, but from a place of opportunity. From a place of opportunity to understand that whether you have been suffering for a day or for a lifetime, you will arrive at moments of clarity such as this. These moments are technically always available to us, although we may have a lot of momentum invested in acting out the current experience we're in. And so sometimes, in the thrall of that momentum, we might temporarily forget that right now we can indeed shift to a new choice. And I share that what matters to you, what genuinely inspires you, might sometimes be seemingly challenging to tap into from wherever you are at. And one of the reasons it can be this way is when you are feeling distress or prolonged challenge, we don't often feel as inspired to access our creativity or feel at leisure to contemplate what we truly care about. We might be very conditioned at that place to focus solely on resolving the issue we perceive at hand. The interesting challenge that can bring us into is it can bring us into a state where we have conditioned ourselves to consistently approach perceived challenges in our life from a consistent place of fixing, pushing, healing, or problem solving. That might not sound like an issue. That might sound like common sense. I'll offer this perspective. From my own experience of reality creation, the way that we consistently approach life and the matters of our life contain within them the ultimate outcome. If I am approaching the different perceived challenges in my life from a place of stress and effort and force and fear, even within the solutions that I am approaching, they contain within them the programming in the seed, the emanation of resonance that I'm setting out into the universe of, I resolve things through more of this kind of energy. When this happens, I am resonating this way, so more of this, please. Another way of saying that is, the energy with which I respond to something is the energy that I am perpetuating. I would invite you to consider the idea of the echo. You hear the echo, you want silence. So you go, quiet! Quiet, 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 quiet. Shh. The answer to the actual silence is to be the silence. Echo. Choose silence. And in the same way, in our lives, what you would like to perceive in the world is what you are invited to be. Now, here's the thing. When I speak about the perspective of embodying what you want to see in the world, it's not the concept of what you want to see in the world. If you want to experience a world that has more proactive solutions, the invitation is to contemplate what proactive solutions you might invite, and then to focus your energy, your life, on living that. Do you want to see more artists get better paid? Then go buy some art at a price that is resonant. Would you like to see businesses that are sustainable? Then discover how to build one or support ones that are. The small things, the small consistent choices we make bring about the greater weaving of what we are living and embodying in this world in reality. So, considering the perspective of the echoes, I offer you the perspective of contemplating that when we want to shift an experience or a focus or a behavior in our lives, one of the reasons the present moment is so powerful is because it is in the present moment that you have the opportunity to place through your focus, through your action or inaction, the seed of a new point of resonance. And it is your consistent amplification and adherence to whatever you are focusing on in reality that applies new momentum to what you want to express. I'll use the example of a relationship. If you would like people to respect you, you can start with respecting yourself. By applying respect to yourself through first identifying your boundaries, then honoring them inwardly, and then saying yes or no to situations outwardly as they resonate either in alignment with your boundaries or out of alignment with your boundaries, you are then able to cultivate a resonance of that respect. As a result, it becomes easier and easier to say yeses and nos to people in and out of your reality who are choosing to either align with their empowered self and your empowered self, or if they are choosing to opt out of your experience of reality because they are not in alignment with that. And that's all right. It takes all different sorts. And in this way, my friend, if you approach reality with just a smidge of lightness in this manner, if you choose to identify what matters, place focus on it, but release the expectation of how the outcome of it's going to be, while being consistent with tending to the pattern that matters, you will experience something that appears to look like reality shifting without you seemingly having to lift a finger, unless that's resonant. And with this, my friend, I offer a fun closing thought for us today. Whatever it is you'd like to experience or accomplish in your life or connect with, it is already yours. We don't need to try to be what we are. In fact, it takes a lot of effort to be what we're not. And as you are giving yourself permission to tune in with who you really are, and what I mean by that is to just allow the stories and the noise to quiet down long enough to get a sense of what you're feeling and what you really want to care about, and to give yourself permission to explore that without immediately shutting it down, then I'm going to imagine you'll continue to be on your most enjoyable pathway to living right now the version of a satisfying life in your way. My friend, I have so enjoyed this conversation. Thank you for joining me on the nature shower. We got the hair taken care of. And in all cases, I have in the description some links, resources. We have a wonderful community going. I would be honored if you decided to join us. We have some more events coming up soon. And in all cases, my friend, I enjoy our conversations together, and I look forward to our next one.